broad overview of these companies. Let us discuss a little bit about Dutch, French, then we'll discuss about the Carnatic Wars, and then we'll go towards the establishment of the government by the British. So Dutch, if we see these Dutch, they overthrew Portuguese and their control over Pulicat. Pulicat Lake, I hope all of you know. It is at the intersection of Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu today. Very important lake. Dutch, they built one castle. This is known as Castle Geltria. Please isko yaad rakhna. Castle Geltria, which is around 60 km north of Chennai, and the remains are visible even till today. They were able to gain control of the area of Masulipatam. 1602 was the one, and when it came to India, 1605, they created their control over Masulipatam, and then Pulicat also came under their control in 1610. They were having other possessions also like Nagapattinam, Punagiri or Porto Novo. Many areas came under their control. If we see their economic activities, Pulicat was the most important center for trade and commerce. They exported diamonds to Western countries and spices like nutmeg, cloves and mace to Europe. They also set up gunpowder factory to strengthen military power. So all these things were directly linked to the Dutch. Centers yaad rakhna, UPSC has been asking. They were involved in the slave trade, okay, which we have just discussed. Slave trade were involved there. They used to bring people from Bengal as well as their settlements, okay, in places like Karaikal to Pulicat, and from Pulicat these people were sent in the ships. The brokers also employed in Madras for capturing and shipping the slaves. Slavery is something which was done by them. And finally there was an invasion by the Bijapur army in 1646, which led to destruction of the fertile agricultural land in Tanjore, pushing more people into slavery. So whenever any kind of economic crisis used to come, it used to increase the presence of number of slaves, which could be then utilized by these people, and they were taken from one place to another. The next power which came, we are excluding the British, it was French, the important one. Even though in between them Danish people also came, उनके बारे में पढ़ेंगे, but they are not that much important. They tried to establish the trade link as early as 1527. कोशिश की इन्होंने उस टाइम पे. However, this was not successful. Their company was finally founded in 1664. There was a marked difference in the structure of this French East India Company. The French East India Company was created not as a private trading company. It was created as a project of King Louis XIV. King Louis XIV was a very powerful person. He used to say, I am the state. है ना, अभी हम बोलते स्टेट के चार पार्ट होते, पीपल, टेरिटरी, गवर्नमेंट, सॉवरेंटी. He said, ये सब हटाओ, I am the state. That is how he used to be. He was a very powerful king, and he wanted to fight against the British and their commercial supremacy. So that's why they created this French East India Company in 1664. This project was spearheaded by one of his ministers, who was Minister of Finance. His name was Colbert. But the biggest problem is, if it is a PSU, जैसे PSU के साथ आपको पता है क्या होता है इंडिया में, सारा जब भी काम आता है गवर्नमेंट अपने हिसाब से उनको मोल्ड करती रहती है. सो लॉन्ग टर्म ग्रोथ किसी भी PSU में जल्दी से होती नहीं है. सो टाइम एंड अगेन अभी क्या चल रहा है, प्राइवेटाइजेशन, जिसको हम डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट भी बोलते हैं. डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट द सेल, जितने भी इनके शेयर्स हैं वो परसेंटेज सेल होते जा रहे हैं. दैट इज समथिंग व्हिच वाज बीइंग डन. एनीवे, so this establishment of a state project was bound to have lot of impact. इसको थोड़ा सा डिस्कस करते हैं. That if a company is private in nature and if a company is state owned, what are the challenges which are going to be in front of them? So if we see private में, we have the example of English East India Company. The state led, it was French. You have to understand this because this is going to be one of the major reason for the failure of France. One major reason for the failure of France in India. So if we see the English, if you are private, your orientation will always be of commercial nature, because you know if finance is not going to be there, then the operation will end along with it. So you will never take those chances कि भाई नहीं हम government के ऊपर dependent हो जाते हैं. But here the problem was they were always dependent upon the government, and if government is not having the funds at a specific point of time, what will happen? Their operations are going to get affected. So this was the first major difference, that if you are a commercial entity, private entity, it's going to be very useful for you. Second, since they were commercial, they were generating their own revenue, they were enjoying higher level of autonomy, they can take decisions as per their own will. Here the problem is, if you're getting the grants, naturally your decision making is restrictive in nature. For each small decision, they had to look to their capital, and that's why they could not take any major decision without looking towards Paris. हमेशा अपनी capital की तरफ देखना पड़ता था. Third, since they're having revenue plus autonomy, so naturally they can hire their own army in India. Like the French East India Company, maximum number of people, they were Indians in them. They were not from Europeans. And that's why they could hire their own army and they could take the scale of expansion to new heights. तो अपने प्रोजेक्ट को अच्छे से परस्यू कर सकते हैं. Like we see the various policy of subsidiary alliance, Dalhousie, all those was possible because they were of commercial nature and they were enjoying autonomy and they could manage their own army and lead the expansion. But here the problem is, the moment a single crisis is going to come, no action can be further taken. If we see about Dupleix, I hope all of you know his name. So Dupleix, he was one of the most finest governor of the French. But the problem is, they were dependent upon finance. So पैसा खराब हो गया French government का. So he was called back. In 1754, he was called back. And within next 10 years, the French were defeated. He was the most visionary person. अभी उनके बारे में डिस्कस करेंगे बाद में जाके. But इस चीज को आप ध्यान रखना. The nature of the company is very, very important. Okay, like you see Apple, Microsoft, they are private, है ना. और अगर इंडिया, चाइना को छोड़ दो, चाइना इज अ डिफरेंट थिंग, बिकॉज चाइना में तो स्टेट कंपनी भी टॉप पे रहती हैं. ओके, बिकॉज एवरीथिंग इज मोर लाइक द कम्युनिस्ट. बट see it in those societies which are free and open. So we see the case of like Microsoft, Apple, see their growth. Okay, and see PSUs of India. क्या करते रहता है, मैक्सिमम टाइम डिविडेंड देते रहते हैं गवर्नमेंट को, है ना. कि अगर अच्छा प्रॉफिट हो गया, बहुत बढ़िया, एक काम करो, वो घर पे थोड़ा सा जरूरत था, डिविडेंड दे दो हमें. सो दीज PSUs दे गिव मैक्सिमम डिविडेंड. इतना डिविडेंड कोई भी प्राइवेट कंपनी देती है, बिकॉज दे आर ऑलवेज थिंकिंग अबाउट एक्सपेंशन, दे थिंकिंग अबाउट जनरेटिंग प्रॉफिट्स. बढ़िया करेंगे, काम करो, हमें इस बार थोड़ा और फाइनेंस चाहिए, बजट में शॉर्टफॉल है, तो आपको क्या करना है, डिविडेंड डिक्लेयर कर देना है. तो अपने हिसाब से डिविडेंड डिक्लेयर करवा लेते हैं कंपनी से. दैट इज द प्रॉब्लम बिटवीन अ प्राइवेट वेंचर एंड अ स्टेट वेंचर, एंड यू शुड बी अवेयर अबाउट दिस, दैट दिस ब्रिटिश, they were focusing on commerce, there was a commercial company. Second, they were having autonomy, and finally they can build their own army. अपने हिसाब से mercenaries को hire कर सकते थे, and they could even think about expansion. But if we see the state, the French company was dependent for funds, it was dependent for even navy के लिए भी वो हमेशा dependent रहते थे, ठीक है. And then decision making was always going to get hampered because they had to always look towards Paris. And finally, whenever any severe crisis was going to come, knee-jerk action will be taken. Like the most difficult decision, or probably the most decisive work done by the French, it was the recall of Dupleix. The moment Dupleix was recalled, their project of creating an empire in India was over along with it. और ये क्यों हुआ? दो रीजन से हुआ. They were not having money and they were not having autonomy, and both these things were there with the British. So please remember, the French, they failed in India, and इसका सबसे बड़ा reason क्या है? The nature of the companies. Government initiative, the French commercial enterprise was initiated by the government. Distinct from private venture, they lacked popular support among the French populace and viewed by many as another means of taxation. Because इस company को run करने के लिए भी क्या चाहिए? Tax चाहिए था from the French people. Pondicherry. Okay, so the initial area where they tried to arrive, it was the area of Madagascar. I hope all of you know about Madagascar. It's a very big island that we have in the Arabian Sea. French colonization effort led to many settlements, but ultimately majority of the area it fell apart, and only a coastal area it remained under the control of French. Then finally, one of the French agent, Berber, he obtained a royal command from Aurangzeb in 1666. And they established their first factory in Surat in 1668. Then they went, okay, towards Masolipatnam, and by 1669 Masolipatnam was also fortified by them. and they tried to increase their stronghold. Okay, like Colbert sent a fleet led by Mr. Hay, okay, to increase their presence, and French were able to remove the Dutch from the area of Saint-Thome. So the Dutch and the French were also having a specific kind of rivalry. But later on in the 18th century, as we know, Dutch are going to lose, and we see the rivalry between the British and the French. Finally, the most important settlement, it was in Pondicherry. Pondicherry was a major base of the French. और ये base इनको दिया किसने था, ये आपको ध्यान रखना है, ये आया कैसे, कहाँ से आया, इसका origin क्या है. So there was Sher Khan Lodi. Okay, Sher Khan Lodi was the local governor and who was representing the Sultan of Bijapur. He offered Pondicherry as a suitable settlement in 1673. At that time, it was a very small fishing village, and the person responsible for establishing it was Francis Martin. It was Francis Martin who was the governor of Pondicherry, made a strategic center for the French settlement in India. And finally, Pondicherry became very vital for them. Francis Martin described the area as well cultivated, and later on, majority of the settlement was going to be here. But this was not a very strategic and sound decision by the French. Why? Pondicherry is not defendable. If we go towards Calcutta, it is defendable. Okay, at least कुछ sides of defend कर सकते हैं ना. Pondicherry, it's open. People can come from many sides. They can come from the land side. They can come from the sea side because it's at the shore. तो defendable नहीं है. That's why this is a very famous comment which we'll discuss later on. That starting from Pondicherry, even Alexander the Great also could not have won anything in India. Okay, V.A. Smith is a person who says that neither Alexander the Great nor Napoleon could have defeated a power which was having base in Bengal, plus who was having mastery over sea. It was the English. So Pondicherry as a base was non-strategic. अभी हम देखेंगे आगे जब बैटल्स होती हैं उसमें निकल कर भी आएगा ये चीज. First we see the rivalry between the French and the Dutch. So there were continuous conflict with the Dutch. France and Holland engaged in continuous war from 1672. Rivalry extended to their colonial endeavors in India also. Okay, the French faced difficulty in capturing Pondicherry due to diversion of resources to Chandarnagar. So Chandarnagar was a settlement which they were creating in the area of Bengal, which will essentially be the major source of tension with the British. During the 1693 to 1699, the Dutch were able to capture Pondicherry. 6 साल के लिए दिया ही नहीं वापस. ठीक है? So finally they got it in 1699, and Francis Martin remained in power at this point in time until he died in 1706. This was the rivalry which was continuing between the Dutch and the French. Finally, we see the expansion of French settlements in India. They increased their presence in Mahe in 1725, Karaikal in 1739. As all of us know today, Pondicherry is not, as a union territory, is not having one territory. इसके 4-5 को हमने combine कर रखा है, which includes Mahe, which includes Karaikal also. So established and extended their settlement in Kasim Bazar, Chandranagar, Balasore in Bengal region. Then Pierre Benes Dumas, he was an able person who took after the administration of Pondicherry. Threat from the English increased during this time, and finally, eventually, they want to lose all their fortunes. And the legacy of the French, अगर हम आज की बात करें, there is it present in Pondicherry, Mahe, Karaikal as well as Chandranagar, and cultural and architectural remnants reflect their heritage in these regions. Okay, because they will lose after the Third Carnatic War. There was one more power, and it was Danish, the Danes. Danish, if we talk about them, it included people from both Denmark as well as Norway, है ना, वहाँ दोनों की जो lineage है वहाँ थी, and they were controlling areas like Trankebar in Tamil Nadu and Sirampur in the area of Bengal, plus also Nicobar Island. So कभी भी अंडमान निकोबार की बात होती है तो Nicobar Island was under the control of Danish. बाद में इन्होंने ब्रिटिश को सेल कर दिया, भैया पैसा दो हम जा रहे हैं यहाँ से. These people were more interested in missionary activities, in changing the religion of the natives, spreading Christianity. This was their main reason. That's why whenever you read about them, you will see this word Trankebar missionary or Sirampur missionaries. उनका major focus ही सिर्फ एक चीज के ऊपर था. Okay. In fact, when this was created in 1616, Christian IV, he was the king. He created the Danish East India Company. Initial response from the Danish trader was not positive, because naturally when the company is created, their trade is going to get affected. कुछ ना कुछ monopoly तो देंगे ना इस नई company को. Admiral Over Gage led the first expedition in Ceylon in 1618 but failed to secure trade contract. Main vessel was sunk by the Portuguese. Agreement was somehow signed in 1620 and the village of Tranquebar and the right to construct a fort was given to them. So from 1616 when it was created through charter, 1620 में उन्होंने first settlement अपना create किया. This fort was created at Tranquebar, was vulnerable to tidal waves and then frequent damages used to happen. They also remained involved in the 30-year war. 30-year war was fought in Europe from 1618 to 1648, and after in this war they had a lot of financial losses, but they still set up a factory at Masolipatnam and some of the trading posts at Pipli as well as Balasore. Then investors in Denmark, they wanted to dissolve the East India Company. इसको बंद करो, कहानी खत्म करो इसकी, है ना. हमें trading rights दो सारे. We don't want a company to restrict our trading right. This company was abolished in 1648, but the second Dutch East India Company was again revived in 1696, है ना. तो बीच में लगभग 50 साल के लिए बंद, खत्म. Trade again was resumed between Denmark and Tranquebar with new outposts, and finally Napoleonic War, they were led to destabilization of the Dutch possessions, and in 1839 they sold off Tranquebar, and जो भी बचा कुचा था उसको समेट के ये लोग वापस अपना Danish चले गए in 1845. So Nicobar Island was also sold to the British. That we are going on. That's why it became Andaman and Nicobar. नहीं तो initially these territories were divided between the British and the Danish. तो ये ध्यान रखना, कभी मान लो मॉडर्न इंडिया के ऐसा कोई क्वेश्चन आ जाए that initially this area of Andaman and Nicobar was under the control of the British, that would be wrong. Okay, so it was Danish who were controlling, but their chapter is over by 1845. So we have discussed sufficiently about these, like Danish, Dutch, English, French as well as Portuguese. The first one to arrive was Portuguese, the last one to arrive was French. French came in 1664. So first one Portuguese, then we see the coming of Dutch, third one were English, fourth were Danish and fifth were French. Please remember them, and their initial centers are also very very important. UPSC is asking them regularly. आपको प्रीलिम्स में पूछ रहे हैं, मेंस में तो क्या ही पूछेंगे, ऐसा क्वेश्चन तो आएगा नहीं ऑप्शनल में कि व्हाट आर द मेजर सेंटर्स ऑफ द फ्रेंच, है ना. फिर तो मजे आ जाएंगे, ऐसे क्वेश्चन आएंगे. नो एनालिसिस, नथिंग इज रिक्वायर्ड. एनीवे, सो प्लीज रिमेंबर, लाइक इफ यू सी द पोर्चुगीज, कोचीन, कैलिकट, कनौर, Goa, Diu, okay, Daman, all, and even Tarapur, they were important centers for Portuguese. On the eastern side, if we see, Yanam was one area which was under the control of Portuguese. So Portuguese के ये major centers थे of trading in India. If we see the case of English, Patna, Agra, Hooghly was also linked to it, Ahmedabad, okay, Bharuch, Surat, Mumbai. Here we have Chennai also. Okay, so these were the important centers for the English. If we see the case of French, so for French we should remember Mahe towards the western coast. Western coast पे कौन सा है? Mahe है. Here we have Pondicherry is there. Karaikal is also there. These were the important centers for the French. And in Bengal region it was Chandranagar as well as Balasore. These were all French centers. If we see Dutch were having Chinsura as well as Pulicat. We have discussed about this lake of Pulicat and Nagapattinam. These were the important Dutch centers. And finally, if we see the case of Danish, okay, so Danish, they were also having the area of Tranquebar and एक उनका Sirampur जो था, it was in the area of the Bangla or the West Bengal. So please remember किस कंपनी के कौन से important centers हैं. Previously they were not that much important, but आजकल ऐसे क्वेश्चंस आपके प्रीलिम्स में आने लग गए. तो ये मैप मैंने ऑलरेडी एनसीईआरटी से बोरो करके इसमें हमने ऐड कर दिया है, इसको आप रिवाइज कर सकते हो whenever it is required. So whatever we have discussed so far, it is more like basic understanding of the coming of Europeans. But the most important entry, it is of British, and then the rivalry that they share with फ्रेंच। तो अगर आप सिलेबस देखोगे तो फर्स्ट टॉपिक इट्स द अराइवल ऑफ यूरोपियंस in which they keep the title of Portuguese and Dutch, and then we shift towards British versus French. This is the major topic जहाँ से मॉडर्न हिस्ट्री शुरू होती है फॉर आर पेपर, जो अपने पेपर के हिसाब से यहीं से पहला क्वेश्चन आपको हमेशा देखने को मिलेगा, द राइवलरी बिटवीन द ब्रिटिश एंड द फ्रेंच. एवरी ईयर दे आस्क क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम दिस.
A very good evening to all of you. I'm Vikas Elawat. I'm a former civil servant. I was able to crack UPSC twice. In fact, in 2018, I was able to get highest marks in history optional, and they were around 324. So this year, I'm coming up with a series which I'm calling Self-Study History Optional. इस series में 100 से ज़्यादा वीडियो होने वाले हैं, which are going to cover the different nuances of ancient, medieval, modern as well as world history. So those of you who are preparing for 2025, register करिए and try to get the maximum out of this specific initiative of ours. So at Prep Career IAS, we are producing results from last many years. 2023 में बहुत सारे टॉपर्स हमारे इंस्टीट्यूट से थे. 2022, 21 हर साल बहुत अच्छे टॉपर्स यहाँ से निकले हैं. And they have been able to get very good marks in history optional. So those of you who are thinking कि यार start करके कितना कर पाएंगे कितना नहीं कर पाएंगे, we already have achievements with us. I was able to achieve, my students are achieving, and you can be the next. इन सेशंस में क्या होने वाला है? नंबर 1, विल बी फोकसिंग ऑन फाउंडेशन ऑफ बेसिक कंसेप्ट्स स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम व्हाट इज हिस्ट्री, व्हाट इज हिस्टोरिकल पीरियड, व्हाट इज प्रोटो हिस्ट्री, व्हाट इज प्री हिस्ट्री, बेसिक लेवल. ओके. सेकंड, अलाइनमेंट विद यूपीएससी सिलेबस. जितना भी हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल का सिलेबस है वो 51 पार्ट्स में डिवाइडेड है. सो वी आर गोइंग टू अलाइन ईच एंड एवरी कंसेप्ट विद द सिलेबस इटसेल्फ. Number 3, we're going to focus on answer writing. All of you know कि जो मेंस है वो ऑब्जेक्टिव नहीं होता है, वो सब्जेक्टिव लेवल पे होता है, और आप सब लोगों को आंसर राइटिंग सीखना शुरू करना पड़ेगा, है ना. वी डू नॉट हैव टू मच ऑफ टाइम, तो जिस स्टार्टिंग से ही आंसर राइटिंग शुरू करेंगे. एंड नंबर 4, द ओवरऑल पैकेज इज़ वेरी होलिस्टिक इन नेचर. तो अगर आप इसको अच्छे से कर लेते हैं तो जो बेसिक लेवल फाउंडेशन हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल की वो कंप्लीट हो जाएगी. यू आर गोइंग टू गेट मैनी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स अलॉन्ग विद दिस. ओके. 100+ सेशन है, चारों पार्ट कवर होंगे. थीम वाइज सेग्रीगेटेड डायग्राम, फ्लो चार्ट, जितने भी इंपॉर्टेंट एनसीईआरटीज हैं. देखो अगर हम सारी एनसीईआरटीज को कंबाइन कर दें, एंशिएंट, मिडिवल, मॉडर्न वर्ल्ड ऑफ वेरियस बोर्ड्स ऑफ इंडिया, तो 25 से 26 एनसीईआरटी निकल के आती हैं. उन सबको हमने कोहेरेंट फॉर्म में डिज़ाइन किया है सो दैट यू कैन लर्न द बेस्ट फ्रॉम दैट. ओके. बिकॉज देखो हिस्ट्री में रिसर्चेस चलती रहती हैं. अभी तमिलनाडु की जो एनसीईआरटीज हैं दे आर मोर इंपॉर्टेंट इन कंपेरिजन टू द रिसेंट हिस्ट्री देन द प्रीवियस हिस्ट्री जो कि आर.एस. शर्मा वगैरह, सतीश चंद्रा या फिर बिपिन चंद्रा ने लिखी हैं. दैट्स वाई वी आर कवरिंग ऑल द एनसीईआरटीज एंड दैट्स वाई 100+ सेशंस हो जा रहे हैं टोटल मिला के. देन 30+ वैल्यू एडेड आपको डॉक्यूमेंट मिलने वाले हैं, डेडिकेटेड आंसर राइटिंग सेशन मिलेंगे, जूम सेशंस भी करेंगे बाद में ताकि आप लोगों की जितनी भी डाउट्स हों विद रिस्पेक्ट टू लर्निंग दे कुड बी सॉल्व्ड. ओवरऑल जो है आपको क्लास की पीपीटीज मिलेंगी, कंसेप्ट लिस्ट मिलेगा, पीवाईक्यूज, जितने भी पीवाईक्यूज हैं उनको अच्छे से हमने डिज़ाइन कर दिया ताकि आप सब उनको अच्छे से पढ़ सकें. माइंड मैप मिलेंगे पूरे सिलेबस के, वर्कबुक और लर्निंग असाइनमेंट्स मिलेंगे, एंड सेल्फ असेसमेंट टेस्ट, सो दैट वंस यू लर्न समथिंग तो साथ में उसको एटलीस्ट इवेल्युएट भी करना चाहिए ना कि भाई हमें कुछ समझ में आया भी है नहीं आया, एटलीस्ट जितना रिक्वायर्ड है वहाँ तक पहुँचे हैं या फिर नहीं पहुँचे हैं. तो आपको करना क्या है, व्हाट वी नीड टू डू दैट, सबसे पहले आप रजिस्टर कर लीजिए. ठीक है. आपको एक स्पेसिफिक गूगल शीट मिलेगा, उसमें आप रजिस्टर कर लीजिए. देन एज ऑल ऑफ अस अंडरस्टैंड हर किसी के पास लिमिटेड स्लॉट्स हैं, तो आपको एक स्पेसिफिक कॉल आएगा एंड दैट इज समथिंग विच वी आर कॉलिंग एट स्क्रीनिंग प्रोसेस. बिकॉज अगर हमें आपको ये सारी सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड करनी है, द नंबर ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स विच वी कैन हेल्प दे आर ऑलवेज लिमिटेड इन नेचर. सो अकेडमिक काउंसलर इज गोइंग टू कॉल यू, दे गोइंग टू हेल्प यू आउट, दे गोइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड आपकी रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है. हो सकता है आप कॉलेज के फर्स्ट ईयर में हो, सेकंड ईयर में, थर्ड ईयर में हो, और यू मे हैव ऑलरेडी प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर सम टाइम एंड यू आर नॉट गेटिंग द डिजायर्ड रिजल्ट. तो इसलिए हमें स्क्रीनिंग प्रोसेस चाहिए होगा. एंड फाइनली ऑन द basis of this, you're going to get the benefit of this program.